Hello, how's it going? What are we doing? We are going to solve absolute value inequalities. So yesterday, last video, you guys solved absolute value equations. In this video, we're going to flip it and turn it into inequalities. Remember, and the overlap both have to work, or all the parts from each of them, or only one has to work. Okay, so when we graph this is just a quick review. -3, less than -3 would be that one. Greater than 6 would be that one. So when if it's an or, we drop it, drop it, interval notation, We got this action. Okay, a little bit of review. If we change that a little bit, or greater than 3, or if we change that to an and, there's a 7. It's just the overlap of the two, so it's just the stuff in between, and then our interval is that. A little bit of a reminder. We've got some more reminders. We're going to skip these reviews. We're going to go on to the next one. Okay, here, remember this less than, great or. Okay, less than, great or. And remember those two phrases, less than, great or. That's going to help us. Those are things that we want to memorize to be able to solve these problems. We're going to skip this explanation as to why it works, just to get you kind of dig into the situation. So when we have a situation here and we have absolute value of x is less than 3, when we go to solve it, if it was an equation, we would split it, right? And we would say we have the positive side, right? And we would have the negative side. There's two changes when we're dealing with absolute value that you need to pay attention to. It's kind of like when we split it, it's kind of like multiplying it by a negative, okay? When we go ahead and multiply it by a negative, we want to flip the inequality sign. So make sure you remember that as you're approaching doing the problem, okay? When it's less than, we're going to use the word or as well, okay? So that's just kind of some things to memorize. We'll explain why those work when we get into class. I'd rather explain those why to you in person rather than here. I just want you, right now, I just want to go through like how to do it and how to hammer through it. We will, again, review why this all works in class as a full class discussion. Okay, just as that's up. So now, again, absolute value, and inequality. If it's less than, we're going to use or, great or. If it's and, we're going to turn around and use less than. Okay, we're going to split it, flip the inequality sign on the negative side. Now we're going to turn around and we're going to solve it. That's actually what ends up being our solution on it. When we turn around and we graph it, we got 3 and we want to go less than that. Okay, here we go. Again, we are going to go through the explanation as to why this works when we get into class. We're not going to do it here on the video. I think it'll work better when we're in class as a discussion, so you can ask questions when we're doing it. Okay. Okay. Today, I just want to go through and get you through on how to solve it rather than why it works. Okay. So we're just going to deal with the how, and we're not going to worry about the why right now. Cool. Okay. So how do we do it? When it's less than, we want to think of the phrase less than, like I said before. Okay, so this is going to be an and problem. When we go to solve it, we're going to split it. We're going to use the word and. We got the positive side, and then we're going to have the negative side of the inequality. But we're also going to flip the inequality side, very similar to like if you multiply or divide by a negative number. Okay, that winds up being our solution. We have x is less than 3, and we have x is greater than 3. It's an and, so it's going to be shaded in between. The inequality, skip that part. The inequality, though, is going to be 1, or numbers, -3 and 3. -3 and 3, parentheses, because it's not including those things. Here's a little bit of a different situation. It's less than or equal to, less than. So it's an and. When we split it, we keep all the same stuff over here. We drop the absolute values. We go to this side, we're going to flip the inequality sign and make that other side a negative. And then we're going to turn around and solve it. Minus 3, 2x less than or equal to 0. X is less than 0. It's an and. Make sure you write that word in there when you do it. Minus 3 both sides. 2x greater than or equal to negative 6. Divide by negative 2 here. We get x is greater than or equal to negative 3. Okay, we're going to graph it. We have negative 3 there. We have zeros already on the graph. So x is less than 0 would be this one. X is greater than or equal to 0 would be that one, filled in circles. And we just want the overlap. So we're going to turn around and draw the overlap. And it's going to be in between. Okay? We're going to skip writing the inequality because we have it up there with the word and in between. Interval notation, going to be a closed bracket, negative 3, and then a bracket, square bracket, 0. Squeezed in between, and we have filled in circles. All right, here, when we go ahead and we're talking about a greater than sign, that's going to be an or great or. Okay, again, please remember we're just showing you how to do it right now. We'll explain why it works when we get in the class. Okay, absolute value of x greater than 5. We keep the same exact thing over here. We're going to put an or in between. And on the other side, we're going to flip the inequality sign and we're going to flip it to the negative number. So remember, flip that, kind of change it to a negative number. That winds up being our solution. When we turn around and graph that, we have x is greater than 5, x is less than negative 5, and our interval, negative infinity to negative 5, union 5 to infinity. Okay, another or problem. It's great or situation. We're going to split it again with 2x plus 3 greater than or equal to 3, or 2x plus 3 less than or equal to negative 3. Now we're going to solve these two problems. Minus 3, 2x greater than or equal to 0. Divide by 2, we get x is greater than or equal to 0 again, or minus 3, 2x less than or equal to negative 6. We're going to divide by 2, x is less than or equal to negative 3. Now we have two problems. Notice how we did each one of those kind of in columns by themselves. Notice how we finished with writing the word or in between to emphasize it's an or problem. We solve it. Now we go ahead and do x is less than or equal to negative 3, x is greater than or equal to 0. Or means all the parts of each one, so we just kind of graph them together. Interval notation is going to be negative infinity to negative 3, union 0 to infinity. All right, take a look at part B in just a hot second.